We are counting down 9 wives of Nazi leaders, whose unbelievable rises and brutal falls reveal how power collapses and consequences endure. 9. Annelies von Ribbentrop. Born into Champagne wealth, Annelies grew up in privilege and married Joachim von Ribbentrop long before he became Hitler's foreign minister. Their Berlin home turned into a salon for Nazi power brokers as she joined the party and embraced the status it brought. After Nuremberg sentenced her husband to death, she tried to shield the family, was detained, and then fought to circulate his writings. She stayed loyal, recovered some inheritance, and faded into relative anonymity. This matters because it shows how social privilege greased the gears of a criminal regime and how money helped some survive the aftermath. 8. Margarete Speer. She married Albert Speer as he rose from architect to armaments minister, raising 6 children while he pursued power and proximity to Hitler. After the war, Margarete stood by Albert through his 20 years in Spandau, reinforcing his public image as the supposedly remorseful technocrat. She lost wealth, kept the family together, and later lived quietly as Albert reinvented himself in the media. This matters because her loyalty helped build the myth of the good Nazi, showing how post-war narratives could blur responsibility. 7. Gerda Bormann. Groomed inside party circles, she married Martin Bormann, one of Hitler's most feared gatekeepers. She embraced the ideology completely, produced 10 children, tolerated Martin's affairs, and even promoted ideas for racially driven breeding communities. When the regime collapsed and Martin vanished, Gerda was detained, stripped of status, and died of cancer in 1946, leaving 10 children behind. This matters because it reveals fanaticism's human cost and the speed with which privilege turned into tragedy. 6. Henriette von Schirach. The daughter of Hitler's photographer, she grew up inside the inner circle and married Baldur von Schirach, the Hitler Youth leader and later the Gauleiter of Vienna. In 1943, after witnessing a deportation in Amsterdam, she confronted Hitler to plead for mercy. He exploded and exiled the couple from his inner circle. After the war, Baldur received 20 years in Spandau. Henriette divorced him and later wrote books that portrayed Hitler warmly without condemning the regime. This matters because a rare moment of pushback did not translate into repentance, highlighting the complexity and contradictions of proximity to power. 5. Ilse Hess. A committed nationalist from the start, she married Rudolf Hess and entered Hitler's inner circle. When Rudolf flew to Britain in 1941 on a rogue peace mission, Ilse was left isolated and branded by his disgrace. After the war, she became a tireless defender of her husband, campaigning for his release from Spandau and writing books that echoed the very ideology that had destroyed Europe. She never repented and became a voice in neo-Nazi circles. This matters because extremist ideas did not vanish with defeat, and Ilse's advocacy helped keep them alive. 4. Emmy Göring. A celebrated stage actress turned regime celebrity, she married Hermann Göring in a spectacle that felt like a royal wedding, with Hitler as witness and the world watching. She hosted kings, princes, and foreign dignitaries while basking in stolen art and luxury. After Nuremberg, Hermann killed himself to avoid execution. Emmy was detained, sentenced in denazification, stripped of almost everything, and spent years trying to rebuild a normal life while still defending her husband. This matters because it shows how propaganda glamour could cloak theft and terror, and how swiftly it all vanished. 3. Magda Goebbels. The public face of Nazi womanhood, Magda became the unofficial First Lady of the Third Reich long before Eva Braun appeared in public. She adored Hitler, married Joseph Goebbels with him as best man, and turned their home into a nightly hub for the party elite. She raised 6 children whose names began with H in honor of the leader, and was awarded the Cross of Honor of the German Mother. This matters because Magda's visibility and devotion turned ideology into lifestyle, helping normalize a regime that was already planning catastrophe. 2. Margarete Himmler. A fervent believer who matched the regime's rhetoric at home, she married Heinrich Himmler and lived the ideology daily. She embraced racial supremacy, kept a strict household, and wrote diaries that celebrated their daughter Gudrun as the model Aryan child. She watched as Himmler reshaped policy from policing to social engineering, and even as he abandoned monogamy, she remained a true believer. After the war, she was detained, feared the public, hid in a convent, and never expressed remorse. This matters because it shows how conviction inside the home helped normalize policies that destroyed millions, and how that conviction carried into the next generation. 1. Lina Heydrich. She met Reinhard Heydrich when he was a disgraced naval officer, pushed him toward the party, urged him to meet Himmler, and helped him land the post that built the SS intelligence machine. Her influence opened the path for one of the most feared men of the regime. She reveled in their vice-regal life in Prague, mistreated forced laborers after his death, and remained unapologetic. After prison, she returned to the island of her birth, hosted clandestine gatherings of former Nazis, and published memoirs that defended her husband. This matters because Lina was not just nearby, she was a catalyst. Her choices helped set a brutal system in motion, and her unrepentant stance shows how deeply the ideology endured. In the end, these 9 stories chart a hard truth. Power can elevate anyone, but when it is built on hate and violence, the fall is inevitable. Their lives show how complicity can look like hosting a dinner, smiling for a camera, or defending a lie in a book. And history remembers not the parties they threw, but the human cost they enabled.